So today I want to talk about Effortless, which is the sequel to Thoughtless in the whole Thoughtless trilogy. This one is by far probably my least favorite in the trilogy, but even with that being said, I still loved it. So if you have not read Thoughtless, I highly suggest you read that one first because this will this will spoil some of the bits in the first book. So yeah, with that being said, let's get to it. It starts off with the band, the D-Bags, performing at Bumbershoot, which is a music festival in Seattle. And we start off with Kiera just talking about how she can't believe this is her life and how she cannot believe she's dating this rock star and just how incredible he is and how amazing her life is. And you can kind of see from the beginning that Kiera has gained a new sense of confidence after really figuring out herself from the last book and, finding herself and realizing that she doesn't have to be dependent on a man. As this book goes on, we're going to see the repercussions that come from how Kiera and Kellen started their relationship. You're going to see a lot of trust issues. You're going to see a lot of miscommunication, which unfortunately is a big theme in this book. And I know a lot of people are not a huge fan of that, but it is what the book is, and it makes sense, and it helps the character grow. It really helps their relationship grow and mature. And so it is something that needs to happen. And so it's not as annoying as it can be and as frustrating as it can be, because I promise you it's so frustrating in certain parts. It made me so mad. It does make their relationship grow, and you see the maturity in these two characters as the story goes on. That being said, like I said, it starts off at Bumbershoot where they're performing, where Kellen and his band get noticed by a fellow band that is going to be going on tour, and they ask them to come with them to be one of their opening acts, which is a huge deal for any band who is trying to become up and coming, obviously. Obviously, the entire band is totally down for it. They're so excited. They can't wait. Whereas Kellen has all these reservations because he just got into this healthy spot with Kiera, and he knew exactly what happened the last time Kiera's boyfriend went away for a while and what happened with her and Denny, and he's terrified of the same thing happening because, as we learned in the last book, Kellen does not have the self-confidence that he pretends to have, and he has this fear of being lonely and being left, and he doesn't want to do to Kiera what Denny essentially did and have Kiera leave him. And so the first few chapters of the book, they're debating on whether he should go. And as much as Kiera does not want him to go, she knows in order to continue to grow as a woman and become mature and be the person that she wants to be, she has to let him go to show that she can be this mature woman and that they can make it through anything, even when he's gone. And so she convinces him to basically go on this tour. And then you're following them for the rest of the book as he is throughout this tour. And unfortunately, as this tour goes on, they both find themselves caught up in situations where they are not entirely lying to the other, but they are not being entirely truthful because they're both afraid of hurting the other person or having the other person leave or having them repeat the cycle that they repeated. And obviously Kiera has this fear of him becoming this big bad rock star and forgetting all about her because she doesn't see herself as anything special. And you're watching them go through all these ups and downs in their relationship, it's a natural thing for any relationship that would be put into the situation. And throughout the tour, Kiera is learning to be on her own and that she's going to be okay and that she can handle things. However, the way she goes about handling the trials and turmoils that they have, does lead to some issues. And the same with Kellen. And then I think it's like halfway through the book, we have a character that's introduced that ends up causing some major waves, and not by the own fault of the character, but by Kiera's lack of communication. And it creates this whole web of issues, which, like I said, can be an incredibly annoying thing for anyone who doesn't like the miscommunication trope. But I don't either. Like, this is probably why this one is not my favorite book in the series, because it's that huge miscommunication trope that I can't stand. But like I said, the characters need to go through it to grow. And you find out later too that a lot of the things that Kellen has been untruthful about, it's actually something that is good for him and something that will make him stronger as a person. He just doesn't know how to bring it up to her. And that's a big thing throughout this book. And you don't even know as the reader, you're reading like what is going on. You know, the book is obviously leading you to believe one thing. When you find out what it actually is, it's definitely not where you thought it was going to go, but it's a relief in a way. It's definitely a book to help them grow and mature so we can get to the conclusion, which is Reckless, which, like I said in my last video about Thoughtless, Reckless is a very, very close second to superseding Thoughtless for me. I loved Reckless. I loved it so much. In fact, whenever I reread this series, I usually skip this one when I go through a reread and just read Thoughtless and Reckless, because this one I feel like it's just character growth. It's character building. You need to read it the first time around because it really, really gets you into the mind of these characters and you feel so connected to them and you really understand and watch their characters grow. And that's the fun thing about this one is you're watching them grow as a couple and as people. And obviously you're watching the rest of the bandmates and their girlfriends and their lives continuing on and following their relationships that began in the first book, which is a lot of fun. If you loved Kira's sister in the first book, she appears a lot in this one and she's fun. Like she actually brings a lot of comedic relief to it and she's a fun character. She gets Kira out of her shell. Anna is a big part of this book and what helps Kira grow as a character. And I absolutely fell in love with her character. In fact, I love Anna's character so much. I love her story, her relationships. Anna is one of the reasons that you will find out later is the cause of one of the major climaxes in this book. And it's going to make you want to punch your hand through the wall. But you will fall in love, more in love with Kellen Kyle in this one because he will just become he's just the perfect boyfriend. Let's be real. He's just perfect. And you are going to fall more in love with him. And Kiara is far less annoying in this book, except some of the choices she makes you want to just pop her upside the head. But, same with Kellen because, he doesn't always make all the great choices. There's a lot of spicy scenes in this book. They are a lot more intimate just because their relationship has gotten stronger. There's one scene in particular that I really enjoy in the beginning of the book, but I'll let you read and decide if that's your favorite one out of this book. But yeah, I highly suggest you continue with this series. I really hope you read Thoughtless. If you did and you loved it, read Effortless and go straight into Reckless right after because like I said, I absolutely loved Reckless. Yeah, Effortless. It's basically, I think it actually ties together perfectly the carnage that comes from starting a relationship the way they did, the struggles that a relationship and a couple will go through after what they did. And I actually think it perfectly represents how at the end, it's not all sunshine and rainbows and that there is a lot to work through, even when you do get your happily ever after. And that's what I love about this book. I think it's so real in how a relationship would be after something like that. Obviously, the rock star thing, that's not relatable to a lot of us, maybe it is for you. If it is for you, that's awesome. I just love how honest it is. And it's so raw. It's so real in terms of the stuff they're going to go through. And it's something I think a lot of couples can relate to, especially if you've been in a similar situation. We don't condemn cheating. Cheating is not a thing. We joke about it in our books that we don't like a cheater, but even in real life, we don't like a cheater. But I think it's a great example of what a relationship will go through after something like that happens. And then how they grow from it and how to stay together and how to work through it, Yeah, I just find it's so real and raw. And that's what I liked the most about this particular book in the series. I feel like it truly captured how not everything is always sunshine and rainbows and how relationships take work, relationships take effort, and that if you work through it, you can get through anything together. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Did you read Thoughtless? If so, are you going to read Effortless? What do you think? Tell me what you think. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Is there any other books that you would like me to read and review? Yeah, let me know. let me know what you thought about this book in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about Thoughtless. And yeah, we'll talk about Reckless next time, which I'm really excited about because, like I said, that's definitely that's my second favorite in this series. But let's be real, I love the series so much. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.